Right, but let's get into our lesson. That's just a fun little like brain breaker to get you into the math headspace as we get into our lesson. So my first question to you guys, Boopsie Daisies, is what are integers? If you were with us in the last course, we spoke about integers. And so what I want to know is what are integers? You can put it in the chat. You can raise your hand. At this point, I'm allowing you to raise your hands immediately. What are integers? Nomzawako, do you want to tell us what integers are?
Yes, ma'am, I think an integer is a whole number which is not a fraction number that can be positive, negative, or zero.
Perfect. All positive or negative. And that was nice and concise. Whole numbers, including zero. Right, there was another little zero. There was another little bit of information there that was also very helpful. Integers never include fractions or decimals. Okay, so the second you have a fraction or a decimal, it is not an integer. So integers are positive and negative whole numbers. We include zero in that, and there will never be a fraction or a decimal when considering integers. So quite nice still. But what we do now need to be careful of is the fact that our signs could be positive or negative, which means that we need to be very careful when working with our signs. So if we have a look at a number line and we express our integers on a number line, there's our zero, our sort of like middle point. And so if we consider all of the positive integers, we can just keep going all the way up to positive infinity. This number line can just keep going. But now the same thing happens with negatives. I can just keep going more and more negative all the way along my number line, all the way up to negative infinity. And so number lines, especially when we're starting out with integers, are very helpful for us to visualize where the numbers sit, what the numbers represent. And when we start to do some very basic operations, they are also potentially quite useful to us. Okay, so I'm going to leave it there in case you want to take a screenshot. I'm going to just double check. Is there anyone with a question before we do our first example? You can raise your hand or you can put it in the chat. Are there any questions before we do the first example? Molemo, question?
Ma'am, I was asking how do I go back to the screen to show the work because I cannot see the work.
Okay, so you might need to log out and then log back in again to get the screen to work.
Okay, ma'am, thank you.
Okay, Kopano, question? Whoops, nearly muted myself again.
Ma'am, I was saying that, ma'am, I was saying that if the integers are not fractional, they can be any number, positive or negative.
Yes, so any number, positive or negative, just no fractions, no decimals.
Yes, ma'am.
Good. Timbuktu, clear question? There should be a little pop-up to unmute yourself. Okay. Muladzi, I hope I'm saying that correctly. Question? Z, question?
Yes, ma'am. The question is in relation, is it possible, I'm to list that. Is it possible to also send the link through an email so that next time we're able to connect with ease?
A link to what?
Hello?
What do you need a link to?
A link to these lessons through the email. Through the email also. Not only on WhatsApp.
Mulaudzi, we will definitely take this with our service team at Watobe to suggest it, and then we can get back to you on what they're saying about that, because at this moment they are sending it through WhatsApp. So we can just suggest what you just asked now, and we will definitely get back to you. Thank you, sir. Okay, Z has a question. Z, gonna unmute and ask your question.
My question is, can the number be negative infinity and like positive infinity? Can it go up to that?
Yes, yeah. Okay, sorry, I'm following you now. Yes, it can go it goes on forever.
Okay.
So exactly. Good. Oh, sorry guys. Okay, cool. So let's have a look at some examples to practice working with integers, understanding how integers work, etc., etc. So if we go to example 1 here, we have got some pairs of numbers that we want to decide whether or not they are bigger or smaller than each other. Now I'm going to do the first one with you, so I don't want to see any hands just yet. And to do this, I'm going to just draw a number line because it might be helpful for us. You might find a number line helpful, you might not. It's really completely up to you and what you sort of find helpful for your own learning. I'm going to use a number line, so hopefully it does help. And then, as Nzi's just said, this number line goes up to infinity, right? There is no end to this number line because these integers can just keep going. All right, I don't know why there's hands. I haven't asked for hands yet. Lower your hands, please. So we've got -5, -6, and so we keep going. So if we have a look at this first one, the question is, which number is bigger, 2 or 6? Now, if we look at our number line, our sort of grounding point or starting point would be 0. That's nothing, right? That's what 0 represents. And so if we now start to move to the right on my number line, and I start to move towards positive infinity, I'm getting towards numbers that are bigger and bigger. If, on the other hand, I move down to the left of my number line, so I start moving towards negative infinity, I'm getting to numbers that are smaller and smaller. And so this will help me identify whether or not the number I'm working with is bigger or smaller than another. So if we identify our two numbers that we are working with here or want to consider here, on my number line, I've got 2 and I've got 6. And essentially what I want to do is I want to ask myself which is further up my number line. So which is closer to positive infinity. And so what I see there is that in comparison to 2 and 6, 6 is the bigger number. It is closer to positive infinity than 2 is. Now, we always use these crocodile miles, what we call inequality signs, when we want to say that something is bigger than another. And so the crocodile always wants to eat the bigger number. Just think of it like it always wants more food. And so this crocodile mouth needs to eat the 6. And so we can fill in our inequality, or we can fill in our sign to show that 6 is bigger than 2. Now, again, guys, you can use a number line if it's helpful to you. You maybe don't even need a number line and you just know which number is bigger. Excuse me. But if you are struggling, use a number line, locate where those numbers are on the number line, and then decide which is closer to positive infinity, because that is the one that is bigger. Right, so you're going to try B, C, and D. On the chat, you can put your answers. Just remember to label them B, C, and D. I'm going to give everyone a minute to try that. I will then ask for hands, but I don't want to see any hands just yet. So give those a try, and then we will go through them. So you need to have answers written down so that when we go through them, you can mark your answers. Oh, sorry. And we're wanting to say which is bigger. So use your crocodile miles, use your inequality signs.
Okay, guys, remember, you see the sign that Teacher Sam has used. So we need to use those signs. Okay, so on the chat, let's change the way we are answering the question. We need to see that, the sign that shows that 2 is indeed less than 6, or 6 is bigger than 2, okay? So we don't write the sentence, 6 is bigger than 2. We need to use those signs because it's very, very important. Okay, my people, there we go. I see you guys. I see you, my people, my geniuses. Amache, no hands yet. No hands yet. You are lowering that hand down. Instructions. We're following instructions, my people. Y'all are doing so good. Let's do it. Lucia, I see your answer, but remember, use the sign that Teacher Sam has taught us. Let's go. There we go, Sipesihle. There we go, Zia. Thank you. Thank you, Shongi. Y'all are amazing.
guys.
Let's go.
And guys, like Yolanda says, practice using these signs. You're going to use these signs more and more as you go on in maths. So being comfortable with them now is really important. And also getting them wrong now is important, because now is the time where you can fix them if you need to.
Yeah. Let's go.
Okay.
Litabo, sorry.
No.
Litabo, I've seen your answer. You need to use the sign. Hey, Litabo, you need to use your sign. So you cannot answer with an equals to or with the number. We are using. Ooh, Emily Rose, well done. You see the way that Emily has done it? A is this, B is this, C is this. This is how we should all answer. Litabo, check corrections now.
Okay, so
Let's
guys,
go.
if you want to raise your hand to give me some answers, now is the time to do so.
There we
Nice.
go, my
Well
people.
done. Okay, Kiribiswe, do you want to help me with B? Which one's bigger?
Ma'am, I think 1 is bigger than -1.
Perfect. Well done.
Well
So the crocodile
done.
wants to eat 1. That's a weird looking crocodile mouth. Let's try that again. Okay, and guys, I always think of this in terms of food. I would much rather have 1 donut than owe someone a donut. Remember, negatives could be thought of as debt. So I would much rather have my own donut than have to give my donut to someone else. Alrighty, very nicely done. I hope I say your name correctly. Mpelentle. Oops. Do you want to try C for us?
Yes, miss. C is 0. The answer is 0, ma'am.
Good. So 0 is bigger than -3. And again, I would much rather have no donuts than have to give away 3 donuts. And so our inequality or our sign has to show that 0 is bigger. Well done, guys. I'm trying to find some new names here because I feel like we've got a few. Gabby, do you want to help us with D?
D is miss, it's -1, I think.
Perfect. Exactly.
Well
-1. Again, think of it for food. I would much rather owe someone 1 donut than owe them 3 donuts. 1 donut you can sort of like make peace with, but 3 donuts, no.
No, don't go. No. Can't
Okay,
share that
guys.
much.
No, exactly. Right, so I'm going to leave it there in case you want to take a screenshot. Now is the time. If you have questions, you can raise your hands. So there's still people with hands up. I'm going to assume that that's questions. Please.
Sorry, I've muted everyone to Sam. So you want mute.
Thank you. Right, so there are hands up, Tulani, Tolakele, and Kapano. I'm assuming those are questions. If they are not, you can lower your hands. Otherwise, I'm about to pick on you. Right, Tolakele, question?
Hi, ma'am.
Hi.
Ma'am, why are the bigger numbers in the negative side always the smaller numbers, like if you understand my question?
Yes, okay. So basically, it's such a hard one to like try and explain mathematically, but let's think of it in terms of maybe something we could feel. So if you think about temperature, would you agree with me that you would much rather have -1 degrees than -10 degrees? -10 degrees is so much colder. And so we always want the bigger of the negative because that's like the warmer numbers. Those are the better numbers that we want to deal with. And so you can think of it in many different ways, but basically the smaller negative is actually the bigger number because it represents, let me try to get my words here. It represents a smaller amount of a negative value. So I'd much rather be 1 rand in debt than 3 rand in debt, or 100 rand in debt than 3,000 rand in debt. We would always prefer a smaller negative because it's a little bit less than the whole sort of infinite negative system. I don't know if I explained that very well. I struggle to explain these. Food and temperature is my go-to. Jolukele, I hope that makes sense. If it doesn't, pop a message on the chat.
I'm
Kwano?
sure definitely they understood, because definitely as teacher Sam, I'd rather give you one pizza than giving you 3 pizzas. No way.
Exactly. Kwano, question? Excuse me.
Yes, ma'am.
Mhm.
My question is, if the number is the same, like -1 and -1, we're gonna add the sign of equals to.
Yes, exactly. Exactly.
Okay.
Good. Well done. Shania, question? Oh, I nearly muted myself again. Okay, no, right. Okay, cool, guys. I hope we all took screenshots. Let's have a look at our next example. I'm moving. 3, 2, 1.
We move. Let's move, my people. Let's move to the next thing. Y'all are doing really awesome.
Okay, so guys, what we want to do here is we want to look at the pattern that we're seeing. And this is just, again, getting us used to working with integers, getting us used to writing down. Right, so just made my chat take up the whole screen because that apparently makes sense. Okay, so we're going to do the first one together so you can see what's going on. And then I'm going to ask you to try the next couple by yourselves. Again, what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw in a number line for us. You might find it useful, you might not. You decide. But we've got a little number line here, and essentially what the question's asking us to do, like I say, is to finish or to follow the pattern. And we want to write down the next 3 terms in our pattern so that the pattern remains consistent from one term to the next. So if we have a look at our first pattern, we've got 4, 3, 2, 1. Now you might be able to do this without a number line, but it might be helpful. So if we go from 4 and we move to 3, I can see that I'm subtracting 1. If I go from 3 and I move to 2, I'm subtracting 1. And so hopefully what we see is that the pattern we have here is that each time I'm moving 1 down my number line, I'm going closer and closer towards negative infinity, or I'm subtracting 1 each time. So if I want the next 3 terms, I need to subtract 1 from 1, which gives me my next term of 0. I need to subtract 1 from 0, which gives me my next term of -1. And I need to subtract 1 from -1, which takes me even further down my number line to -2. And so we want to see if we can find the pattern to our sequences. Alrighty. So I want you guys to try question B for me. See if you can find the pattern. See if you can figure out what the next 3 numbers would be in this sequence. Remember your signs.
Let's go, my people. Remember, Kutano, no hands yet. So you can lower your hand down. So we're listening to instructions. When Teacher Sam says hands up, we all go hands up. If she says no hands, we all go lowering our hands, okay? We're sort of dancing in this class. So to all my new people, we appreciate you, we love you, and please do not feel shy. However, if you feel shy, you are allowed to, on the chat, to change where it says everyone to Yolanda or to Samantha, okay? To send your direct messages. Remember that the messages have to be with the work that we are doing now, the work that you're seeing, which is integers. It can't be with any other thing, okay? If you have any other question, next Wednesday when you come in, come 5 minutes early, okay? One delay and the friend, lower your hands down because it's not hands yet. Shania, hands down. Lower those hands down. It's not time for hands yet, my people. Let's listen to instructions, okay? Well done. Thank you. Thank you for that. So let's go.
Sorry, on listening to instructions, I said very specifically, I only want the next 3 numbers. Just the next 3. I don't want a whole list, just the next 3. So please be careful. Seeing lots of great answers coming in. Sorry, I've turned off my camera because it says my internet's unstable. We'll see if I can put it back on in a second or 2, but I'm just going to leave it off for now. Right, guys, Anyone who would like to raise their hand to give me an answer can do so now. Yes, guys, some of you have your
And
fingers
everybody's hands
ready.
goes up. That's
Yeah.
what we need to do. And it stays there. Okay, guys, let's focus. I can't even sing.
Okay, Umlemo, do you want to help me with B?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I'm ready.
B is gonna be you are subtracting 2 in each
Good.
number. So it's gonna be 0,
Good.
-2,
Excellent.
and -4.
Excellent. Well done.
Nice.
So those are our next 3 terms in our sequence. Okay, see there's lots of hands. There are some more questions coming up, guys. So don't stress, you'll get a chance. Everyone whose hands are up, please lower them. Unless you have a question, you can leave your hand up, but now is the time for questions. I'm going to give everyone a second to lower their hands. So it's Batle, Dimpo, Imvuyo, Kupano. Those hands are all up because I'm assuming you have questions. Right, Dimpo, question? Okay, remember guys, 5-second rule. If you don't answer me in 5 seconds, I'll move on. Kupano? Should be a pop-up to unmute. Oh, no, okay. Shania?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, do you have a question?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah?
If the number is subtracted by a negative number, will it give us a positive number, not a negative number?
Yes, if we had a negative or minus, yes. If we were subtracting a negative number, yes.
Yes, ma'am.
We are going to start to deal with all of those things in the next few lessons. So remember those. Oh, yes, my English today. Remember all of that information and it's going to come up in the next few lessons. Well done. Right, Shania, question? There should be a pop-up to unmute yourself.
Shania is new. So
There we
welcome,
go.
Shania.
Yes, and I actually don't understand that well.
Okay, which one don't you understand?
B.
Okay, so if we have a look at B, I'm going to go to my number line here. Yes, actually, oh, golly, sorry, everyone. Nope, right. If I go to my number line and I start where I need to start, so it starts at 8. Obviously, I don't have 8 on my number line, so there's 8. It then moves to 6. Now, that is a jump of 2. I'm taking away 2 in order to get to 6. If I then go to my next number, it's 4. I'm taking away 2. And so each time I'm taking 2 away from the number in order to get the next one. So 2 minus 2 gives me 0. 0 minus 2 gives me -2. -2 minus another 2 gives me -4. So each time I'm subtracting 2 from the last number in order to get the next number. Excuse me. So we're looking for the pattern. We're looking for the same thing that we're doing each time in order to get our successive terms. Hope that makes sense. If not, remember, you're more than welcome to message Yolanda or myself or put it on the chat. Right, guys, if you didn't take a screenshot here, don't worry. I'll make it a bit smaller so you can screenshot everything. I want you to try C and D for me. So again, look at the pattern, draw a number line for yourself if you need, see what the pattern is, and tell me, remember, what the next 3 terms in my sequence are. I'm going to draw a number line for you just in case.
Let's go, my people. Y'all can do this. I had a little story to just tell while they're busy doing this one. So my story, of course, I only have serious stories always. So my story, guys, is that we've been with the class from 5 until 6. We were doing exactly the same concept, but a little bit slower. Okay. So in this class, we actually have to move fast. So anyone who feels like this class is fast for them, please submit your names to Teacher Sam and I directly, okay? You can either choose the Yolanda or Teacher Sam. Can you please, guys, do that for us? Would really, really appreciate it, okay? So if you feel like this class is really, really fast for you and you think that we are moving fast and you're not following, there is a class that starts at 5 until 6. We're doing exactly the same concept, but Teacher Sam is much more slower when she's teaching it, okay? So it's your choice, my people. Let's go. Let's do this. I can see some answers. Only 3 terms. Remember, we need to follow instructions. Guys, did I tell you? So on your exams, when you write, since you are in high school, if the teacher says you write 3 and you go and write 4, they can even penalize you, or you'll be wasting your time, because the time that it takes to write another extra 3 answers on one question, it takes out the time for you to answer the other questions. So you won't finish your exams or your circle test or your tests, okay? So in here, Teacher Sam and I, we're trying to train you so that you actually do the actual work that you have to do and write on your test. So when we say 3 numbers, it's 3 numbers, and then you move on, you know? And then you're like, happy, happy, happy. My mark's done.
Okay. Guys, I'm seeing some good answers. Well done as well for labeling your answers. Very nice. We know which is which now. So if anyone wants to raise their hand to give me C and D, excuse me. Right, Tatenda, do you want to give us C?
Hi, ma'am.
Okay.
On number C, it's -4, then -5.
Good.
-6.
Good. Okay, so I did give you -4, so we need one more. So negative.
-7.
Good. Well done, Tatenda. Very nicely done. Well done, guys. Tulani, I see you saying every time you raise your hand, no one's lets you, but I don't see your hand here. So did have a look. All right.
Oh, and also on that behalf, Teacher Sam, we just want to let Tulani know, Tulani, we love you, and we're showing some love to everyone. Since there's a lot of you, there's 105 learners here, and we appreciate all of you. So if today we don't get to your hand, don't worry. On Wednesday, we'll definitely get to your hand. Okay, my people, we love you. We really do.
Yeah, guys, we need to spread the love. Alrighty. So, sorry. Ay. It's all just chaos. Right, Bonolo, help me. D. I was just pushing so many buttons that weren't working. I do apologize.
Oh, hi, ma'am.
Hi.
So, ma'am, I think the answer next to 50 there is going to be 0.
Good.
Then the next one is going to be -50.
Excellent.
Then the next one is going to be -100.
Perfect. Well done. Right, very nicely done. Well done. Excuse me. Right, so guys, just quickly, someone's asked for an explanation for C. Remember, if we're starting at -1 and we're going to -2, we're subtracting 1. So we're taking 1 away. -2 to -3, I'm subtracting 1. So what I want to do is I want to take 1 away every single time in order to get my next term. Very similar thing is happening in D. To get from 200 to 150, I subtract 50. 150 to 100, I subtract 50. And so I'm subtracting the same thing every single time in order to get the next term in the pattern. Alrighty, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to just make that a touch smaller in case you want to take a screenshot of everything all together. This is the point now. If you have any questions, you may raise your hand. If your hand is up, I'm going to assume you have a question. So there's quite a few of you with hands up. Please remember to lower them. I will answer questions now. Alrighty, let's have a look. Ms. Latse, question? Remember, guys, 5-second rule. Okay. Kopano, question?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
My question is, can you please explain number D again? I don't understand quietly.
Okay, so D, we're just subtracting 50 each time. So if we say 200 minus 50, we get 150. 150 minus 50, we get 100. So we just keep subtracting 50 to get our terms.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Okay. Tulani, question? Sorry, guys.
Ma'am, I don't understand C.
Okay, so C again, I'm just subtracting 1 each time. So -1 minus another 1 takes me to -2. -2 minus another 1, -3. And so I just keep subtracting -1 in order to get my terms.
Oh, okay.
Okay, good, well done. Damo, question?
So, ma'am, so every time when you get to 0, you minus by that number, and then so maybe it's 5, 10, 15, or maybe it's 15, 10, 5, and then it's 0. Then what will be the next one?
So what is your pattern there? What are you doing each time? You
You
are
minusing 5.
Okay, perfect. So what is 0 minus 5?
It's -5.
Exactly. So that would be your next one. And then you would take another 5 away, -10, and keep going.
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
Good, well done. Nomzawake, do you have a question for us?
So, ma'am, I just wanted to know if you use a negative number to times or minus the negative number, does it give you a positive number or a negative number?
If we start multiplying and dividing, yes, but right now we're just subtracting. So we're going to get to that and chat about the sign changes. So yes, when you're multiplying or dividing, it will.
Okay.
Okay, guys, I do see some hands and I hear you, but there's some people just sitting doing nothing. So you've all taken your screenshots of this. I'm going to move to the brain break. Those of you who are ready to try the brain break, have a go. The brain break we're going to do in terms of the first person to give the right answer on the chat. We're going to ask you to raise your hand and explain. So I'm not going to do anything. Try the brain break. Remember, you want to find the value of the caterpillar, the spider, and the bee in order to make those equations true. Okay, there were still some people with hands. I'm not stopping with questions. I just don't want people sitting doing nothing. So if you still have a question, you can raise your hand. Otherwise, you're trying the brain break.
Let's go, my people. Let's go. Take a screenshot because we might be going up and down depending on people's questions.
Right, and guys, there should be no hands to answer the brain break. The only hands I want to see are questions from the last example because I was running out of time. I will ask for hands for the brain break in a second or two. I'm just giving everyone a chance to have a go.
Rock, Freddy, nice try. Nice try. No, 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 no. You cannot do your homework during our hour. Hey, we love you so much that we want to feed you the content of maths of what you're going to do at your school. So definitely you're not allowed to do your homework. Okay, there we go. I'm glad we now understand. While we at it, my people, you see that joke there? I had a hen that could count her own eggs. She was a mathematician chicken. I found it such a lame, but I found it so funny. Y'all are amazing. Amazing people, guys. You guys are amazing. So Shania, remember, do you have any question based on the work we were doing, or you want to answer the brain break? If you want to answer the brain break, please lower your hand down. And remember, guys, that we are focusing on the last question there. So that question mark there, that's the answer that we're looking for. So if you have an answer, put it there on the chat and I'll let you know if it's correct. If it's correct, I'm gonna ask you to raise your hand so you can tell the class how you did it. One delay, it's not 49. Nice try though, but it's not. Let's go. Let's continue trying, my people. Remember that a brain break is nothing to worry about. It's just that it jogs your mind and it makes you creative. Emily is not 28. Let's keep trying, my people. Remember to take it one step at a time. Find out what is a caterpillar equals to. Then find out what is the spider. Woo! Boy, you are my person. Well done, Boidu. Could you please raise your hand so you can explain to the class how did you get 38 as an answer? Boidu?
Nice.
Sorry, guys. Boidu, I just need your, there we go. Boidu is there. There we go, Boidu. Do you want to explain to us how you arrived to the answer?
Yes, ma'am.
There we go. Explain to us.
There are 3 caterpillars, so I divided 3 by 15, which equals 5.
Good.
I knew 5 times 4 is 16. 20. So I plus it with 4, which is 24.
Perfect. And guys, remember there, as Boitu said, BODMAS, times first, then addition. All right, Boitu, keep going.
4 times 4 is 16. And I knew 16 minus 23 minus 16 equals 7.
Perfect.
So there were 2 caterpillars, so 10 plus 4 times 7, which equals 38.
And which one do we do first, the times or the addition?
The times.
Good.
4 times 7 is 28.
Perfect. So 4 times 7 first, then only do we add the 10, giving us our final answer of 38. Very nicely done.
Woo! Well done, Boidu. Well done, you did so well.
Right, so guys, what you need to bear in mind is that this is like solving an equation. So when we eventually get to equations, hopefully by doing these brain breaks, it's going to be a little bit easier to solve equations, work with equations, etc., etc. Righty, so all of those hands up, you can lower them because we've got our answer now. Very nicely done, Boitu. Right, I don't know if you want to screenshot, but if you do, take it quickly. Otherwise, I'm going to move on to our next example. Alrighty, so let's have a look at example 4 here. So example 4 is asking us 5 different questions where we need to figure out an integer that would be true for the scenario that we're working with. Again, I'm going to draw a number line. You don't have to draw a number line. I find it useful. But let's see if our number line can help us answer these questions. Okay, now guys, what's really important with these examples is that you read them very carefully. If we misread something, or if we misread a question, often it's going to mean that we end up with some weird answers and then we just lose the plot completely. So make sure you read your questions very, very carefully, especially in a test and exams, because you don't want to do something wrong just because you've misread the question. Alrighty, I just need to make my thingy bigger. Guys, again, if you are using the chat for inappropriate or non-relevant things, we will just remove you from the lesson. There are lots of people here who want to learn, and if you don't want to, then goodbye. Right, so if we have a look at our first one, the first one is saying to us 7 greater than -12. Now, there's a couple things we need to break down here. Firstly, is that our starting point is -12. So we put a little something there so that we know where we're starting. And then it's telling me 7 greater than. Now, greater than implies that we need to add 7 to negative 12. Now, the second I'm adding numbers, I'm moving to the right of my number line because I want to get close to that positive infinity. If I'm subtracting numbers, then I'm moving towards negative infinity. I'm getting more and more negative. So I now want to add 7 to this negative 12. So I'm moving to the right, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And where I end, that is the integer that I want to write down. Negative 5 is 7 greater than negative 12. Now let's chat about this. This makes sense. If you think about the cupcake example, the temperature example, I would much rather be in negative 5 degrees than in negative 12 degrees. So negative 5 is definitely greater than negative 12. So guys, you can use your number line to answer these questions. Obviously, if you're comfortable with integers, you can go and do these in your head. You don't need to use a number line, but you can. It's a very useful tool for integers. Right, so what I want you guys to do is try question B, C, D, and E. Make sure you're reading them carefully. If you have questions, put them on the chat. You can put your answers on the chat, and I will let you know when I'm ready for some hands to give me answers. Remember to number your answers in the chat, B, C, D, and E. If you're not feeling so confident, use that number line, do your bunny hops, move along your number line so that you can figure out where you need to be.
Yeah,
good, well done.
So well, yeah.
And well done for numbering your answers like I asked. Thank you.
We're following instructions, my people. Yes, yes, I'm dancing because y'all are following instructions.
Nice,
Let's
Emily.
go, Nomzi. We want to see your answer, Nomzi, on the chat. I see that now you're like so relaxed. So put your answers on the chat, Nomzi. Yes, I am talking to you, girl. Literally talking to you. Nomzi is looking at me like, okay, ma'am, are you sure it's me you're talking to? Let's go.
Hey guys,
let's
remember,
go.
I will tell you when I want hands. I'm not ready for hands just yet. We're giving everyone a chance to try it. You're welcome to put your answers in the chat. I will tell you when I'm ready for hands.
I'm gonna see who to pick on. Gabby. Gabby. I want to see your answer on the chat, Gabby. I cannot see your face because your camera is off. So, but I believe I can see something of what you're writing. Hey, Gabby. So please communicate with us. Let's go.
Okay, guys, just quickly, there was a question in terms of what does more than mean? More than means that we're adding, less than means that we are subtracting. So when it says more than, we are adding. We're not yet dealing with multiplication. We will get there, but not just yet.
Y'all are awesome. You are doing really, really well. Let's go. We're seeing those answers. There's a lot of us in this class. We are now 108. So we need to see everyone's answers on the chat. Let's go. Gabby, I'm still on your case until you like, oh, ma'am, yeah, is my answer. Hey, Gabby, I'm on your case.
Nice, guys, doing really nicely. I'm gonna give everyone another second or two.
Oh, let's go. We're seeing them, guys. We appreciate it. Put it on the chat.
Okay, guys, hands. I'm ready for hands now. Try to give everyone a chance, remember? Okay, Ritabile, you want to try B for us?
No, ma'am, I didn't hear you clearly. Your voice was cracking.
Okay, so like I said to you now, have a listen to the answers. And if you're still confused, I'll ask for questions. But hopefully once I explain these last four, it'll make sense. Okay?
Okay.
Alrighty, Emily, B. Emily, you there? Oh, there we go.
Must B is negative 16.
Okay, good. So B is negative 16. Reason being, guys, if I kept my number line going on a little bit longer, it told me to take 4 away from negative 12. So here I am at negative 12. 1, 2, 3, 4. I need to go even more negative. So negative 16. Claro, C.
C is 5.
Positive or negative?
Positive 5.
All right, so 6 less than 1. We start at 1 and we take away 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So positive or negative 5?
Negative.
Well done. Excellent. Okay.
That was good. It was just a hard one. Well done.
It was a hard one. So 6 less than 1. I'm starting with 1 and I'm taking away 6, which means I'm going to end up on the negative side of my number line. Nicely done, though. Kyla, I don't know if I'm saying your name correctly. I'm probably not. You can correct me. D.
We start with this.
Remember to mute yourselves when you're done, guys.
Oh,
one more than 7.
I have muted everyone. Teachers, them you can unmute. Guys, I love the fact that I have the power to mute all of you. So even if you misbehave, I'll mute everyone.
Okay, Molemo, do you want to help me with D?
Ma'am, D is 6.
Perfect.
Positive 6.
Excellent. D is positive 6. It's 8 more than negative 2. So if we start at negative 2 and we add 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we end up at positive 6. Very nicely done. All right. Wandile, do you want to help me with the last one? Wandile, there should be a little pop-up. Oh, sorry, I'm just unmuting all the people. There should be a pop-up to unmute yourself.
The answer on E is
Wandile, yeah?
Ma'am.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Ma'am, negative 4, ma'am.
Perfect.
The answer for E, ma'am.
Perfect. Negative 4. I start at 3. I take away 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And so exactly I end at negative 4. Very nicely done, guys. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to make that a little bit smaller in case you want to take a screenshot. You will see that there's a poll that you need to fill in. All of those hands up, please lower them. There are 3 minutes left. So if anyone has a question, you can raise your hand. If you don't, you are doing the poll. Right, I'm going to call out some names. Your hands are still up. You need to lower them if you have not got a question. Shania, Wandawanke, Kopano, Vujanik, who else? Zamo, Kyla. Your hands are all still up. Please lower them unless you have a question. All right, okay, Shania seems to be having an audio issue here. Kopano, question?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
I wanted you to explain number E for me. I got positive 4. How did you get negative 4?
Okay, so remember we start at positive 3 and then we take away 7. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Because I'm taking away more than what I had, I have to end up in the negative side.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, good. Zamo, question?
So, ma'am, for number C,
yeah.
Yes, C. So it says 6 less than 1, and I said 6 minus 1, or is it the other way around? 1 minus 6.
1 minus 6, because it's saying I've got 1 and I want 6 less than that.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, good. Shania, question? Sorry. Guys, remember that poll?
Yes.
Okay, yeah.
Sorry, ma'am, but I couldn't hear what you said because my phone did switch off. It was
Okay.
flat.
So remember, you can get all of the recordings on the website or on the app, and so you can re-watch the video or the lesson there, and you can see you can catch everything that you missed.
Okay, ma'am. But I have all the answers correct.
Good, well done.